a basic backdrop, like a non-descriptive, more like a tea time live, more like a talk live or something. Oh, nope, not that one. If anyone's in my Discord, send me a backdrop that just says like tea time or something similar to that. Um, I'm just looking for a generic backdrop. Give me a minute. Okay, finally, I got something. Hold on. That took entirely too long. All right, so now I got a backdrop. So I'm not going to bring up anyone because it's not going to be helpful to bring up anyone whatsoever. To the person in request, I appreciate it, but I'm just going to drop you just because probably not helpful. So here's what I'm going to say, and totally up to yourselves one way or another. Um, I don't really care about what it is Ali or how Ali wants to frame what happened. I don't really care how Ali wants to pretend that what happened did not happen. I was there. There was multiple people that were there. We know exactly what happened. They were giving a space and entertaining, allowing love fixes to stay in the, and I don't have an issue with them whatsoever, even though because they're close with them, they um, that's them. I'm not gonna attack them whatsoever because I think that what they did was right. All right. But what Ali did was wrong because it was her live, and what Art did was wrong, and what the other people did was wrong. And the framing that was taking place just now, liars are going to lie, and I just do not think of Art and or Ali as being people who are genuine good people. I think they're horrible people. I think that they like to bully. I think they like to shame. I think they like to and if people want to choose to fuck with that, that's on them. I don't understand it, and I don't have to tolerate it, and I don't have to pretend that's not what happened. And so the idea that how it was dangerous and how it was dire, if that's considered wrong, I just don't care what your moral values are. Your moral values are skewed. Your moral values are messed up. If you're more focused on trying to put a label on me, or more focused to do whatever the fuck you're trying to do, because what you're not for a couple of years. I would need to be so, 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 so clear. Tabbies, it's weird to me that they're saying you have an issue. It's weird for me for them to say you have an issue with Ali receiving money from a white supremacist, allowing a white supremacist in their comments, allowing a panel. It's weird for them to say you have an issue with that, but it took place 2 years ago. When Tabby's issue is as follows. There was someone on this app who did not like me, and they were constantly trying to dogpile, and whenever any cancellation popped up, they would jump in. And I think they would admit this to this day. And they came up, and then immediately after, Tabby joined. And I inferred, due to the fact that this person had repeatedly tried to dogpile and derail issues, that they had invited Tabby because Tabby was her best friend, not acquaintance, best friend. And if that's a bad take, if that is spun into me being racist by Andy, Andy said, I actually, by the way, just so you know, I didn't ask Tabby to come up. I was like, oh, you know what? That was probably dismissive to Tabby. And I asked for an apology to be sent to Tabby via Andy. If someone wants to make that into a thing, then I just don't want to waste my time with that person. That's a person who doesn't care about morals. That's the person who doesn't care about Um, that it's just a person who doesn't care about morals. It's just not a good person. If they want to attack me or criticize or whatever word you want to use, um, give feedback, whatever word you want to use, if they want to say, and who I'm pretty sure I have blocked, and so I was pretty confident I had them blocked, so it wasn't like I was going to message them. I asked Andy to pass along a message. And actually, I'm pretty sure I have that message. Let me see if I have that message. And it's weird for that apology to then be used against me. But to me, that just shows the level of petty and how this is not about the actual issue. Okay, so I'm going to take a screenshot. And, I'm not going to I had with Andy, but I could tell you that Andy welcomed me doing it that way. And I'm a little confused, and I won't disclose, but there's more to that, but I'll leave it at that. Great. So this was the apology 2 years ago. This is what I wrote to Tabby because when Andy promised me that it was when Andy promised me. Let me see if I can change this. That's too spread up for you guys to be able to see it. Give me one moment. It seems to be making problems when there's no need for them. Great. So this is what I said, and this was of my own volition. Please let Tabby know in regards to the live she joined 2 years ago with me and you that you had issues with me at the time, which Andy agrees with, and were trying to call me out over several things, and that several people were dogpiling on top of that and derailing issues, just like what happened today, and that you and I were operating on the level that neither of us were considering the other to be operating in good faith. The purpose of that specific live was to address things that you were trying to call me out on, meaning Andy, so I could quash it. And when Tabby joined, I assumed you had asked her in order to join in order to derail the convo, because I believe that was the only time Tabby had ever joined my live, but maybe she had. That's what I remember. Then I said, I appreciate you sharing with me this week that you did not ask Tabby to join, and now I understand why Tabby was rightfully upset with how I handle things. I've seen countless times with people in my own community when they may have valid concerns or issues with a creator, those concerns or issues are dismissed or invalidated due to their proximity to me, i.e., they're just one of Irish's minions, or Irish told them to say that, and it's demoralizing and dehumanizing to them because they are only seen as an extension of me. So, please tell Tabby I know. Please let Tabby know I'm sorry for assuming what I did and for how it understandably made her feel dismissed or invalidated. You can feel free to screenshot the immediate message above to send to Tabby if that's easier. I mean, I don't know what accountability is to derail my live. It's like someone assuming Mac was joining a live because I was on a live trying to derail a live. I don't think that, I don't quite understand how that becomes a large thing. But the moment I saw that I was wrong about it, I was like, hey, apology is owed. And so I gave an apology. The fact that Tabby is unsatisfied with the mode and that's what makes me think this has nothing to do with what happened, in my opinion. And so it's frustrating because it's like, what do you want me to do? And what is it you think that was really all that bad? What is it that you wanted me to apologize? I don't think most people will apologize because that person, like, I don't understand it personally. And so that's the Tabby issue. As far as the Brats issue, I'll look for the live, but when it comes to that live, I remember I definitely spoke inarticulately. I definitely remember I was, yeah, Mac, you know why. I definitely remember not being able to find the right words and tripping over some words, but it was also like it was the end of a long night. And I remember following up better because they were saying I was using the word emotional investment, which in my head was synonymous with emotional burden. I don't remember saying I'm going to be friends with Brizaza, regardless of what people want. And frankly, I'm pretty confident that during that live, I mean, I'm very confident. I said that I defer to the, people who are affected. That if they say to cut someone off, you cut someone off live. So I don't know why I would have a totally different memory than that. And I remember that Bratz got animated after I said that the prompt that she was going to run was going to be harmful because she then said she was going to do a prompt in response to my prompt, which was something to the extent of white women lie Asians. It was something broad. And I was like, that could really be misread and misconstrued. To which she said, are you saying I'm not smart enough to be able to tackle the nuance of that topic? So I look, I'm very comfortable with my morals. I'm pretty comfortable with how I debate. I'm pretty comfortable that when I mess up, I'm going to cop to it. Honestly, a lot of this feels like that live in terms of like if you heard something that you may be worried about, feel free to reach out. I'm totally open about this stuff. If anyone is worried for me, I am very used to this at this point. It is part of just doing these lives. And I have I don't know, I had Alina do it due to the fact that I feel like I go out of my way to help people. And my reputation, I would say, rather than my actions, seem to constantly people. And honestly, I just think, I don't know. Honestly, I feel like that's just so messed up, personally. Today was a great live. Today was a live that I think really helped the people involved. Today was a live that I really feel helped set the record straight. Today was a live that I think really helped show who Chris was. I had Alina host it was to because I knew stuff like this happens every damn time. And it's frustrating to me that my reputation rather than my people. And, one of the things that really disappoints me a lot is that when it comes to like these situations, when these happen all the time, is that I understand that if people who are, I understand that if people who are uninformed, have never met me, know nothing about me, don't know any of the lore, if they hear from someone who's a woman that, hey, Irish is going to go near Irish, that's totally valid. I totally understand it. It's not fun, but I get it. If someone who's part of any marginalized group is in any way, if someone is part of any marginalized group is in any way told information about me that makes me unsafe, Mac, just check Discord. I'll message you on that. I understand if you're uninformed, if you're a woman, you're told Irish is dangerous, Irish is blah blah blah. Um, Staying away, that's fine. Here's the two things that pisses me off, and what I mean by that is, and I saw it in the live. The flip floppers are always the people who I know who the flip floppers are. They're the people that when I'm in a live and there's a lot of people there and on me, they just flip to the other side. And what makes them a flip flopper is not that. It's that when I become popular again, they end up flipping back to me. And then when I get canceled again, they flip back again. And the other group of people that annoy me are the people who I know are part of a marginalized group. And I know that that person doesn't believe what's being said about me. And unfortunately, that's a large percentage of people. The flip floppers are, select because it really takes a lot to be a person who will pretend to be your, supporter and then denigrate you and then pretend to be your supporter and then denigrate you and then pretend to be your. It's cowardice. It's going with the flow. It's moving away from someone because of optics. And when I say moving away, there's people who are mutuals with me today, who I know don't want to panel with me because of the optics. I respect that. Want to say something, but I just feel like if I do, I will also be crucified. Um, or that was wrong, and I'm sorry that that happened. And so that's annoying. You could get that. Uh, but those are the three groups of people. The uninformed people. So now, as a result of that live we just left, you are going to have whatever. I get it. Sucks, but it's understandable. Second group are the flip floppers. And then the third group are the silent observers who know it's wrong and just remain silent. And the other part that annoys me as well, on top of that, is if I somehow get to, or, not talking about all of them to be clear, but they get to victimize me. That thing that happened with Love Fixes was a lot of people were affected. A lot of people were affected. People, it was a joke, just didn't care. These are facts. These are just what happened. There's witnesses who saw this. And Bella decided to take a payment in order to sell out the person who I feel like I had always been supportive to her. That somehow I'm being called out. I'm usually the person who was initially the victim of the entire thing. So, the Tabby incident, I would hope that Andy would admit that they were wrong in what they were doing back then. And I think they would. I just don't understand it. As a result of me trying to call out a white supremacist and then him trying to torment my community, I get called a white supremacist. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I'm not trying to be the savior. I'm not looking for props. I'm not looking for thank yous. I'm not looking for any of that shit. But gosh, it doesn't create much of a motivation. It doesn't create a motivation that when you go after white supremacy, seriously, I just genuinely think it's narcissistic people who want to, be harmful and abusive, and they get off on it. That's what I think it is. And I think people just don't understand that. I mean, if I if I was a white guy and I had people up on my panel being routinely racist, for example, down to people in the comments, as a host, I'm responsible for that. As a host, I'm responsible for everyone on the panel. And so, yeah, call me crazy, but when people are routinely doing things on your panel that are gross and disgusting, um, you're just faith actors who sole desire is to drag you down. And I don't know, it was tough for the first 6 months, maybe, or a year when it was happening. Say that at some point you become a little numb to it, and then it just becomes the expectation. It literally just becomes what you expect to happen at that point. Appear to be the good one or something. I don't give a fuck. If you don't think I'm the good one, I don't give a fuck. If you don't think that I'm safe, okay, you don't think I'm safe. I'm not doing it for any of that stuff. I'm doing it because I really care. And so, like, I don't care if a bunch of people who I think lack morals, lack empathy, I don't care what they think. I don't care if they want to make me their obsession. They're not my obsession. They're not who I'm paying attention to. That I feel like your best friend, Ocean, is bringing you up here to derail. That's it. That's literally it. And when I had, that's it. That's literally it. And when I had Andy confirm that was not the case a few weeks ago, I apologized. Didn't think of apology like was kind of crazy. Like, I don't know what Tabby thought the points was she was making. You saying that payment, you said that they got payments. And I said, no, I didn't. I said that someone got the recording. And I was right. Like, I know what I said because I wasn't making it up. It's not hard to remember when you're not lying. Like, it's really not that difficult to remember when you're not lying. And so, just in case, people can say, I'm going to go live on my '06 account. Can someone confirm Irish and NYC '06? I'll go live